Good evening, everyone. Good evening, guys. I hope I'm clearly audible to you, clearly visible to you, and yes, the slides are also clearly visible to you. So, how are you all? I really hope that you are doing great and you all have started your preparations for the very important exam of your career, that is PGCET MCA 2024. So guys, this is Komal Gamlani Santani here. I welcome you all on one and only channel, that is Dhruvika Academy, where we are running a wonderful series of 1000 MCQs covering the previous year questions and similar pattern questions so that you get an ace over the exam. Yes, so let's begin our today's session with some very important questions, and let's understand their basic concepts as well. But before that, guys, let me just remind you that in order to have regular updates regarding our batches, notifications of the exam, notes, everything, what you need to do is you need to join our WhatsApp group as well as the Telegram channel. So make sure that after watching this video, you join our WhatsApp group and Telegram channel, where you are going to get notes, information, updates, everything. And what are the wonderful features that we are providing you is, first, live classes, that is you can interact live to the faculty and clear your doubts then and then, and in case you miss any of the classes, you have a backup of recorded classes in Dhruvika Academy application. And along with the classes, we are going to provide you class test, practice test, 50 plus CBT based test. Yes guys, as per the new pattern of PGCET. And most important guys, the classes are being scheduled after your college timings, so there is no overlapping in your college timings and our timings. So that's what gives 100% results, right? And most important thing guys, if you get yourself registered now, you are going to get added to all the upcoming batches automatically. That is, you'll get an access to all the upcoming batches valid till September. So quickly get yourself registered with us, because batch has already started, classes have already started. Okay, and we are providing you this wonderful classes in our batch at a very minimum cost. That is, the price for PGCET 2024 MBA is only rupees 3000, and for MCA it is 3500. So get yourself registered with us quickly. So let's start our today's session. Okay, so today's session will consider mixed questions of ratio, proportion and linear equation. Okay, so we are going to discuss the basic questions that you can expect in your exam along with the conceptual clarity. So let's begin. The first question on your screen: in an election between two candidates, a candidate who gets 40% of the total votes polled is defeated by 15,000 votes. The number of votes polled by the winning candidates is. Okay, so what are they asking you to find? Okay, it's very easy question. Understand what are they asking you to find. In an election between two candidates, so what has happened? There is an election and two candidates participated in, right? And this is a case where one got defeated and one won the election. Now a candidate gets 40% of the total votes polled is defeated by 15,000 votes. Now what does this mean? What does this mean? There were two candidates. Okay, so this is something, total votes polled, right? Some votes will be given to, let's say, candidate A, and some votes will be given to candidate B. Now candidate A, he got 40% votes, right? He got 40% votes. Now it's but obvious that if he gets 40% votes, then definitely the second candidate is going to get how much vote, guys? The remaining. See, you can also do this question using the concept of percentage. Okay, see, I'll take the concept of percentage. That will be quite easier for you, I believe. Let's assume that total votes polled is 100. Okay, so what am I doing, guys? I'm assuming let total votes polled be 100. Okay, right? So these are the total votes polled, so that's 100. Now candidate A got 40%. That means 40% of 100 would be equal to how much? 40 votes. Now it's but obvious, out of 100, if A got 40 votes, then B will get the remaining votes. So how you will find the remaining votes? Very easy. 100 minus 40, that's equivalent to 60. Okay, now can you tell me who won the election? Either A or B. It's pretty clear. B won the election. Yes, because he is getting more votes. A is getting 40 votes and B is getting 60 votes. So who won the election? B won the election. Now can you tell me B won the election by how many votes? If we assume that total votes polled were 100, it's again very simple. If total votes polled were 100, A got 40 votes, B got 60 votes, B won the election by 20 votes. By 20 votes. Am I clear to you guys? How did I get 20? It's very simple. I just took the difference of these two votes. 60 minus 40. 60 minus 40. That's 20. Right? So B won the election by 20 votes. I believe this is pretty clear in your mind. Okay, now let's now use the unitary method. Let's now frame the proper pattern of this question. Okay, now if I say total votes is 100, A got 40 votes, fine. B got 60 votes, fine. The difference in the votes was 20, or I should say B won the election by 20 votes. Now come back to the question. It says a candidate who gets 40% of the total votes polled is defeated by 15,000 votes. Now see, there are many ways of expressing one statement. If I say that B won the election by 20 votes, I could say the same sentence by saying A lost the election, yeah, A got defeated in the election by 20 votes. Right? Yes. So when I assumed total votes as 100, A got defeated by 20 votes. But in reality, he got defeated by how many votes, guys? 15,000 votes. How many votes? 15,000 votes. So this is the way to solve the question through unitary method, right? This we used to do in the childhood. Now what are they asking you to find? The number of votes polled for the winning candidate is. What are they asking you to find? Number of votes polled for the winning candidate is. That is how much B actually got. How much B actually got. They are asking this, right? So let's quickly cross multiply and find out the answer. So what I did guys, I just framed the situation assuming total votes as 100, okay, and found out A's votes, B's votes, and found out the difference, right? And then I am comparing this assumed situation with the real situation. So I was given that A got defeated by 15,000 in reality. So I just wrote 15,000 below 20. I wrote 15,000 below 20. Okay. So let me just tell you one thing. Let's not be just confined to this question. Let's get deeply into this question and understand some more good concepts. Not just finding the votes polled by the candidates. Even you can find out the total votes. Even you can find out the A's vote. You can find out the B's vote. Let's not just stick to this question. Let's get into the detail of this question. Okay. See, if the question would have asked me to find out total votes, okay, I hope this is very clear to you that first I assumed 100 and with respect to that I found out the values. But in reality, I was just given one figure, that is the difference of the votes of the two candidates, that is 15,000. Now I want the remaining reality figures. So let's assume that I want to find total votes. So what I'll do, I'll just put X below the assumed total votes. Okay, I'll just put X here. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I am going to cross multiply. What cross multiply? These two things this way. 20 into X equals to 15,000 into 100. Okay, so what am I going to do? 20 into X equals to 100 into 15,000, right? So if I am asked to find total votes, so X would be equal to 100 into 15,000 upon 20. Okay, so you can just cancel it by the table of 20. You can cancel it by the table of 20. It's very easy. 20 ones are 20 and 20 fives are 100. So you are left with X is equal to 5 into 15,000, which is equal to what? If you are well versed with the tables, 15 into 5 is equal to 75,000. 15 into 5 is equal to 75,000. So I believe this is very clear in your mind how to find the total votes. Now, if they would have asked you to find the votes of A, okay, the similar equation would have been there. Total votes 100. When total votes were 100, A got 40, B got 60, and difference in their votes were 20, right? But in reality, the difference is 15,000. Now, what if they would have asked you to find the votes that A received? So we would have just placed X just below A's assumed figure, that is here. Now again we'll do cross multiplication. How we are going to do cross multiplication? This 20 into X. Okay, whatever was given now, with that we have to cross multiply whatever we have to find. Okay, given into find. Okay, so 20 into X would be equal to what? 15 into 40. Okay, so 20 into X is equal to 15,000 into 40. So again X is equal to 15,000 into 40 upon 20. Okay, so again by the table of 20 itself, 20 ones are 20 and 20 twos are 40. Okay, so 15,000 into 2, 30,000. Okay, now if you have been asked to find the votes that B got, okay, so again same way, total votes assumed is 100 and A got 40, B got 60 and difference is 20. In reality the difference is 15,000. Now what if they would have asked you to find the votes that B got? So we would have placed X just below B, just below B's assumed figure, this way, right? And again we'll cross multiply the given with the one that we need to find. So cross multiply, that's 20 into X is equal to 60 into 15,000. X is equal to 60 into 15,000 divided by 20. Now again you can cancel it by the table of 20. 20 ones are 20, 20 threes are 60. So 15 into 3, we have got 45,000. They've got 45,000. Okay. Okay. So in this question, basically they are not asking the winning, that's a typing error. They are asking total votes polled, so that's 75,000. Total votes polled, that's 75,000. Okay, that's a typing error. They have been asking what? The total votes polled, right? Great. So I believe you have dived much deeply into this question and gained the concept that how we need to solve this type of question using the concept of percentage as well as the concept of unitary method. Okay, so we'll solve many questions today like this, don't worry. Now next question on your screen, it says A is to B is equal to 7 is to 9. A is to B. Yesterday only we discussed ratio is that mathematical tool where we compare two quantities using which mathematical operation? Division. Using which mathematical operation? Division. So A is to B is equal to 7 is to 9. That means how can you write A is to B? You can write A is to B as A upon B, that is 7 by 9. That should be pretty clear in your mind. Now they are saying B is to C is equal to what? B is to C is equal to what? 3 upon 5. Now what are they asking you to find? A is to B is to C. Okay, fine. Now I am going to tell you a very short trick to solve this type of question. Okay, you will be wondering that how to solve this question. You might have studied solving this question in the childhood by a very long method. What was that method? Taking the LCMs, then making the denominator same, and then comparing blah blah blah, lots of stuff. Okay, so I'm just giving you a very short trick to solve this. Just focus. Okay, that's going to help you a lot, I assure you. See, what are they saying? You need to find A is to B is to C, right? So I'm just writing here this way. A is to B is to C. Okay, now what have they given me in the question? A is to B is equal to 7 is to 9. So that's 7 is to 9. Okay, and then they are saying B is to C is 3 is to 5. 3 is to 5. See, in one line, see, just observe what I am doing. In one line I just wrote A is to B, then in the second line I just wrote B is to C. Right? Why am I doing this way? Understand. Now what is the short trick to bring A, B and C on same page? See, B is something common to both the ratios. In A is to B and in B is to C. B is something common in both the ratios. The trick is to make this common element same. In one ratio B is equal to 9 and in another ratio B is equal to 3. Yeah, just observe, in one ratio it is 9 and in the other ratio it's 3. So what is the first step? That is, you need to make this common element same. You need to make this common element same. How you are going to make this common element same? By taking the LCM. By taking the LCM, right? So what will be the LCM of 9 and 3, guys? What will be the LCM of 9 and 3? That would be 9. So 9 is the LCM. Now in the first scenario B is already 9. Now what we need to do in the second scenario, we need to make it 9. We need to make it 9. It is 3. So what will I do? What will I do? I'll just multiply the B in the second scenario by 3. Why am I doing it? To make it 9 so that B in both the scenarios is same. I repeat what I did. B was the common element in both the ratios. So what we need to do, we need to make this common element same. How we'll make this common element same? By taking the LCM. Now the LCM of 9 and 3 is 9. In the first scenario B is already 9. In the second scenario B is 3 and we want to make it as 9. So what we will do, we will multiply it by 3 in order to make it 9. Now B in both the scenarios is 9. Fine. Now the last step. Here I did nothing, that means I can say I just multiplied it by 1. Okay, so whatever you have multiplied here to B, you will have to multiply same thing to A, because they are one group, A is to B. And whatever you multiply to B in the second scenario, you'll have to multiply by the same number to C in the second scenario. Why? Because they are same group. Why are we doing this? So that the ratio doesn't change, it remains the same, right? Now what will happen? This would be 7 is to 9, 9 is to 15. Now these both the elements B are same, so we can conclude the final ratio between A is to B is to C is 7 is to 9 is to 15. 7 is to 9 is to 15. So I believe this is very clear in your mind. Okay, I'll just give you a short recap. What I did, I had two ratios, A and B, B and C. Although B was the common element in both the ratios, but it had different values. In first scenario, B was equal to 9, and in the second scenario, it was equal to 3. Now, to make it comparable, I need to make this common element same. So for that, I took LCM. LCM of 3 and 9 is 9. Now, in the first scenario, it was already 9, so I just need to multiply 1. No need to change, okay? In the second scenario, B was 3. So I need to multiply it by 3 to make it 9, right? So whatever I multiply to B, I need to multiply the same constant to its partner, right? So in the first scenario, A was the partner, so I multiplied 1 by 9. I'll multiply same to A, that is 1 into 7. Now in the second scenario, I multiplied 3 by B. Now again C would get multiplied by the same number, that is 5 into 3. Now finally I get the ratio 7 is to 9 is to 15. That's my answer. That's my answer. Okay. So I believe this is very clear to you. Let me just give you one more question of this way so that you get a clarity. Suppose A is to B is equal to, let me just frame it. 3 is to 6. Oh, no. 3 is to 7. Okay. And B is to C is equal to 14 is to 5. Okay. And you need to find A is to B is to C. Okay. So how we are going to do this? Again we'll be writing as A is to B is to C. Right, A is to B is to C, then 3 is to 7, and then 14 is to 5. Right, now B is the common element, but it is different in both the scenarios. So what we'll do, we'll make this common element as same by taking out the LCM. So what is the LCM of 7 and 14? What is the LCM of 7 and 14? I hope you know how to calculate the LCM. The simplest way to calculate LCM is what? 7 could be written as 7 into 1. And 14 could be written as 77 into 2. So take common factor, that is 7, and write it once, and then multiply the remaining uncommon factor, that is 14. So this is LCM 14. So LCM came out to be 14. Now B is 7, so we need to make it as 14. So what we'll do, we'll multiply B in the first scenario by 2 to make it equal to LCM, that is 14. Whatever you multiply to B, you need to multiply the same to A also, otherwise it will stuck, right? Okay, so 2 into 3. Now in the second scenario, B is already 14, so I can say multiply by 1 and multiply same to C. Okay, now you are eventually left with the new ratio of A is to B is to C as 3 into 2, 6, 7 is to 2, 7 into 2, 14 is to 5. Right? So I believe it's pretty clear in your mind. Right? Let's move to the next question. Guys. The fourth proportional to the numbers 16, 8 and 5 is. Before I solve the question, it should be clear in your mind what is fourth proportional. So basically this is the term used with reference to proportion. Now in the proportion, what is proportion, guys? In the proportion, what we do? What is proportion, guys? Any idea? Comment in the chat box. No? What is proportion? It's equality of two ratios. Equality of two ratios, we call it as proportion, right? Two ratios would be equal. So A upon B is equal to C upon D. A upon B is equal to what? C upon D. Now how do we express proportion? We write it like this: A upon B is equal to A is to B, right? Then this is the proportion sign, two dots, C is to D. Now these extreme terms, A and D, we call them extreme terms, and B and C we call mean terms, right? B and C we call them mean terms, right? Now this is very common, this is very basic. Now this C, the third term in the sequence, we call it as third proportional to A, B and D. Okay, third in the sequence. C is the third in the sequence from starting, so we call it as third proportional to A, B and D. Now talking about D, which is fourth in the sequence, we call it as fourth proportional. We call it as fourth proportional to A, B and C. Okay, is it clear? Is it clear? D is equal to fourth proportional to A, B and C. Fine. Now come back to the question. It was asking you to find fourth proportional. That means there might be four numbers, not might be, surely there will be four numbers. 16 is to 8 is to 5 is to 6, 5 is to x. So we are basically interested in finding this x. Again a very easy question. We said that proportion is what? Equality of two ratios. So this 16 is to 8, we can write it as 16 upon 8. Equality of two ratios, 5 is to x, we can write it as 5 upon x. Now we just need to find the value of x, cross multiply it. X into 16 is equal to 5 into 8. X is equal to 5 into 8 upon 16, right? So 5 upon 2, that is 2.5. Okay, that's option C. That's option C. Fine. Let's proceed to the next question, guys. If 5 is to 7 is equal to 15 is to x, then the value of x is. Now this is something that we used to do in the childhood when we were supposed to find out the equivalent ratios, right? This is something related to that concept. What are they saying? 5 upon 7 is equal to 15 upon x. You need to find x. X is equal to, what we will do? We just cross multiply it. 5 into x is equal to 15 into 7. X is equal to 15 into 7 upon 5. So that's 3 times 7 into 3, 21. That's option C. That's option C. Okay. Now let's again proceed to the next question. It says, if x, y, z, w are four quantities of the same kind. These are four quantities such that x is to y is 3 is to 4 and y is to z is 8 is to 9 and z is to y is equal to 15 is to 16, then find the ratio of x to w. Okay, you need to find the ratio of x is to w, right? Now you might be in a dilemma how to solve this type of question. 3 ratios and out of that I need to extract one ratio. oh my god, how am I going to do it? And it's very easy. It's very easy. Just observe the three ratios. If you multiply these three ratios, what you will get? Just observe it. I have x is to y, I can write it as x upon y. Then I have y is to z, I can write it as y upon z. Then I have z is to w, I can write it as z upon w. Right? Now just multiply these three ratios. Y and y will get cancelled, z and z will get cancelled, and you will be just left with x upon w. So this is what the hint of this question, that we actually need to multiply the three ratios, and whatever is left at the end, would be equal to what? X upon w. Would be equal to what? X upon w. Okay, so let's just multiply the numerical values of the three ratios. So that is 3 upon 4 into 8 by 9 into 15 upon 16. Okay, 3 by 4 into 8 by 9 into 15 by 16. Now let's cancel out the common factors. First of all, I can see 3 1s are 3 and 3 3s are 9. 4 1s are 4 and 4 2s are 8, right? Then 3 1s are 3, 3 5s are 15, right? And then 2 1s are 2, 2 8s are 16. So lastly I am left with 5 by 8. Lastly I am left with 5 by 8, right? Okay, so the ratio comes out to be 5 is to 8, right? So my answer is option D. So I believe whatever we have discussed today is pretty clear in your mind, and all your basics are getting brushed up and becoming strong and strong day by day, ready to fight the moderate and higher level questions also. Okay, so we'll meet tomorrow again with some more basic concepts, so that we can build a strong building on that foundation, right? So again tomorrow I'll be bringing some more concepts related to questions related to those concepts, and we'll be diving into the basics, and then we'll be moving towards the moderate level questions. So make sure that you subscribe our YouTube channel, get yourself registered with us, join our WhatsApp group and Telegram group in order to get the notes and everything. And yes, start preparing with us, because we are going to give you 100% results. Okay, so see you in the next class, guys. Till then, take care of yourself. Bye bye, have a good day.